entertained! Is this not why you are here?
All right, champions, we're back. This is the Prime Minds. It's Saturday morning, so you know exactly what it is. That's why you're here. That's why you're tuned in. And today it's just us again, but it's a very exciting day. We have a lot of information, a lot to talk about, and days like this is I think is the reason that we're all champions holders. We're all PE Prime Eternal holders. Once again, this is a podcast for Champions Ascension or Prime Eternal holders. We talk about NFTs, we talk about Web3, and we're just here. We're supporting this project, this Champions Ascension project, and this is the Prime Minds. A quick shameless plug: find us on Twitter. We're going to be doing a lot more things on Twitter, including Twitter Spaces. It looks like that's where the action is. So at Prime Minds Pod. But you're here right now. We're going to get into it. It's just us. It's just the boys today. This is exactly how I like it. When it's just us and the Prime Minds together, us five, I think we get to talk a little bit more freely. We get to say shit that you kind of only say in your living room when nobody is listening, when nobody's watching, except for the couple hundred people that tune in every single week, and we appreciate that. So it's us. What's up, guys? All of us are here, all five of us together. How's everybody feeling? Gonzaga, how you feeling today?
Hey, I'm feeling amazing. I really enjoyed this last week. We had the roadmap, come in, and then we had an AMA. We got to listen to the CEO of Jam City talk, and I'm just 100% happy about the way things are going, and hopefully we can continue that momentum in the project.
Oh yeah. It's good to hear a lot of these details. By the dip, how you feeling?
Hey guys, feeling good, man. Really happy of what came out. A lot. It's very engageful, and there's a lot of little leaks and stuff in there. So yeah, totally bullish on the game, bro.
Little leaks, little hints in a roadmap. I think I'm going to learn some things today just talking to the homies. Vita G, how you feeling?
I'm good. I'm doing great. I feel like it's been a number of weeks just in general that I haven't felt this good. I'm pretty amped, so ready to get into it.
Look at that, man. I feel the same. Z Mackin, how are you feeling over in the Pacific Northwest? How's it going today?
It's a beautiful week in King Dev. I mean, I got a feeling that things are going to be turning around. I know there's a couple of us who had family members graduating recently. I've got a nephew that's graduating today, so it seems like it's time for new beginnings and the end of old things, because Jam City definitely turned a whole new face around with the roadmap drop in the Twitter space this week. So hopefully, just like the kids in our lives that are growing up, that Jam City's looking behind them and looking forward to a brand new future that's involving us a little bit more. So
that's exactly
I'm excited
it.
about what's to come.
It's like we're maturing. We're growing into ourselves. Maybe Jam City is maturing into the Web3 space from a little baby Web3 project to a more mature Web3 project, and that's fine. And we're here to see it, right? As we count down the months, things seem so long to get moving, but in the grand scheme of things, it's only been about 6 months since the mint, or 5 months, something like that. So not really long in a project, which we heard from them in the AMA, like they're expecting to live 10, 20, 40 years, right? To be something that has longevity in it.
I thought that was amazing.
And right, that's great, and that's why we're here. So I mean, let's get to it, man. Overall, like the whole Prime Minds, right? We don't even got to go in order, but on the updated roadmap itself, what are your thoughts on that? What are you guys thinking? Overall, broad strokes.
Yeah, so this is Gonzaga, and so I like it overall. I like that there's some dates on there, like October 31st, what was it, June 21st for pets, I think. Maybe not, I'm not sure. But because I saw some chat about 7622, July 6th, 2022, that they're going to be doing something then. So maybe that's when.
That was announced,
Petrol
sorry.
drop. Yeah,
That's when Petrol drop? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Troy cleared that up during the AMA.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. So what was the other one? The PFP was June 21st, and we already got those, so that's cool.
Yeah, they'll be dropping them, but we
PFPs.
can get them. Yeah, if we wanted to do work ourselves, which most of us have done, we can get them now. But June 21st is when they're airdropping them, I think.
Is that the PFP? Wait, no, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
PFP.
Oh, okay. We're
Um,
quick note on the PFP. Those look amazing. Those are great. Like we know we have the art. Like look at the art of the alley. Like all of this art is spectacular. Those PFPs look good. I like that they're kind of looking to the left. I think most PFP projects are looking to the right. It's kind of cool. It kind of separates us from the pack. I bet a lot of thought was put into hey, which way should the PFP look? But it's just straight profile pick looking to the left. They're looking serious. They're looking fierce.
And the
So,
biggest
I like
thing
that.
is, you see, we're in a bear market, right? ETH is like $900, and we have Bitcoin at 19,000. So even during all this market and all this panic and all this fear, this team is making content like this. Like if you see the website, it's AAA. Like it's
that
badass.
website's hot. That's super good right now. That looks amazing. Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention just
Pictures.
on the updated roadmap was that I'm not 100% happy with everything that I read, but I'm happy that I have that information. So I wanted to put that out there. That's not just
In terms of like what, like how things were pushed back, or
yeah,
what are you thinking?
because like I've got several $1,000s wrapped up in these NFTs that are not getting me anything, for the next
Mhm.
6 months or something. But my point is that I'm glad that they told us. I can take bad news. What I can't take is no news, and so
Yeah.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
and I think we talked about that a lot. And in CA's defense, there's things happen in the macro economy, and not even crypto, but the macro economy that they can't control. So I think some of the things, and this is when we speculate, like some of the things they can't tell us why they're pushing it back. They very well could be pushing back some of that earning and that staking because the macro economy is so bad. And I think we're jumping way ahead, but I might as well say it right now is if we were to have staking and generating coins right now, like generating crypto, it might not be it won't be worth shit, right? Because
It
look at
would
the
ruin
established
the
tokens.
economy of the game.
It'll ruin the economy right out the bat, right? These are things that I think these are risks that probably people didn't think about back then, and I know I was thinking about like, what if the whole fucking crypto market just tanks? What's going to happen to the value of these coins, right? But if they're introduced right now with no game, with the overall market looking like this, with established things that are rugging right now, right? It wouldn't do us any favors. So
Right.
I jumped way ahead of what I want to talk about. Let's get into that if you want to talk about it.
Sorry about that.
No, go ahead. Dip, go ahead, man. I know you got some thoughts on this.
Yeah, no, I actually am really happy the team has pushed back the economy, because I wouldn't want staking right now, guys, just to be honest, because the coin ain't gonna be worth shit. Like, because there has to be utility. And then plus in this bear market, do you really want a coin to be released right now? I wouldn't want any coin to be released right now, just to be honest, just because the bear sentiment of the market. I'm happy that these guys are trying to do it right. And it looks like they're trying to do it right? And they have events like breeding around Valentine's Day, right? Like they have a roadmap, and it's a little longer, but I would rather have them do it right than for us to be like Pegaxi or Axie, and no offense to those other projects, or the people in them, but we have to learn from their mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
See, and I hear that, Dip, and I do agree with that. But again, we're getting a little bit of echo there, Gonzaga.
Is that the YouTube stream?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No worries. Again, this is just going to come back to communication, right? Like just the optics of the way that this has happened are unfortunate, right? If people had known the information about that staking was going to be delayed by a year around the time of mint, they could have offloaded their primes if they wanted to. They could have taken maybe some profit. But at this point, there was no communication about that. And we've now waited until we're in the midst of a bear market to get that information, which then essentially anybody who's selling right now and trying to make profit, I am skeptical of the way that you're thinking. I will just be honest about that, right? Like ETH is at such a deficit from where it was. So that to me is just my only issue with that is like that should have been communicated well in advance and when it was known, instead of the way that this has kind of happened where it's now, it feels like we've been left holding the bag because we were kept in the dark. That's really that is one of my only criticisms of this update. I really do think it was awesome. And again, like we just wanted the information. I just want the information in my hands. I want to be able to be a reasonable consumer and be able to make decisions based off of the updates of the project. So I'm stoked on it. Sorry, I'm a little bit, I feel like that comment was a little all over the place.
I think that you're right. I mean, but to be honest with myself, I was going to hold anyway. So
yeah, that's part of what I'm thinking too. That like the long-term project in this, like you're going to hold. But to Vita's point too is like, and I was thinking of this right before the podcast started, is like I do feel like bullish, right? I feel very good about this. And it's not like we got any new information, but all we got was information. Like we got information that everything was pushed back, and that's fine. I would have rather seen all of this updated roadmap at at the end of April when we're expecting things to come, when we're expecting some deliverables. Their deliverable should have been an updated roadmap. So they kind of missed that, right? That was that they dropped the ball there. Honestly, like that's just it. They have to, if they were going to confess and they did something wrong, that's what they did wrong. And I think that's what caused a little bit of the the curse word FUD. Caused a little bit of the FUD in CA is that they were missing targets and missing deliverables without any updated deliverables or updated goals or an explanation. So that could have caused a little bit, but at the same time, you see that the market is taking a dip. But the CA NFTs themselves is like, the ETH itself in that is kind of steady. So there's still some faith in the project. But
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, the other thing that I was excited about in the roadmap was that there was a comment that we would be walking in the sun, like on the roads, the same roads as the Emperor or whatever, like during the summer. And so kind of what that alludes to is that there's going to be something playable this summer that we'll be able to jump in and play, which is pretty exciting.
Great marketing too, right?
Wow.
That's free marketing right there. I mean, someone sees you play the game and it looks fun, and they're going to want to naturally get in and play the game. And then once they find out, oh shit, you mean the economy is going to come out next year? Oh, and this game's already badass. So, it gives us a lot of free marketing too.
And plus we can live stream it on our Twitch account on Prime Minds
There you
Twitch.
go. Yep.
boom! Oh, there's some alpha right there. There's a Prime Minds Twitch. Look at that. All right.
and we had an interesting conversation about like, well, what does that verbiage mean, right? Because it is a little bit open to interpretation so far as like, will we actually be in the Sleeping Karkadon, or are we just going to get like video releases of people, developers in the Sleeping Karkadon? And just for my own speculation on that is like, we've already seen the dev room. They already have developed rooms and 3D models of more of the primes than we've been able to see in the leak videos. So like in my head, I think we are actually going to be like truly in a very small rendition of the game. We're actually going to be able to go into the Sleeping Karkadon, interact with maybe a couple NPCs in there, play some games. I'm hopeful that the coins in the Discord will be what we will be using for that, because as of right now, we don't have any actual coins or cryptocurrency to be able to run any of the betting or games. So that's where my mind went with it, and I'm like, I'm so stoked on that.
I think you're right.
A social company, right? Like Chris DeWolf said that. Like they are going to have that social iteration first. So getting people together and having them, gather around some sort of social atmosphere, I think is going to be very key to the early developments of the game.
That would be cool if the coins that we've been gathering in Discord we can use to gamble like in the game somehow.
And it was really good hearing Chris DeWolf too, right? Because I mean, I think you guys know we're all a little older. I had a MySpace in high school, and the greatest thing about it was like, dude, I got to pick my own track. as soon as you went on my page, you were hearing Unit, right? And then you saw, I got to pick up my own wallpaper and my pictures that I wanted you to see. It was like socially so interactive. So like to see what they've done with that at the beginning of Web 2, it just makes me so much more excited to see what they come out with this game. And preferably, I would love to see our name by the dip, King Dave, over our characters. I think that would be very cool, and we'd be able to interact with each other and stuff like that.
Man, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, like big shout out to Krista Wolf, man. It's like I had MySpace back then too, before I was happily married, and even got a couple dates off of it. So, shout out, Chris. We support what you do, man. We're here. We're here for you.
Yeah, one other thing
Go ahead.
that was cool in that same segment was that they said that the construction wasn't going to end there. That they'll be adding things on like throughout summer, fall, and winter. And so what that means to me is maybe either like they'll be adding new mini games, or maybe they'll be expanding areas, or they're just, and they said their content is going to be continuously added forever. And so I think that's pretty cool.
Back to the actual roadmap update and the timeline.
Mhm.
What changed? So from what I'm gathering, just a quick look at it, is the staking definitely was pushed back the most, and I think the land gameplay, or staking or choosing your land, right? Because you need to stake to earn a Messina to get your land.
Right.
That was also pushed back. Is that the main thing? And I think that some of the gameplay was supposed to come in the middle of the summer anyway.
Mhm.
So that looks like it's on track. But I think is that correct? The main thing that was pushed back is the staking and the land.
Well,
Combat was also pushed back as well. Like when we were first in this, I remember them talking about us being able to do combat towards the end of the summer, beginning of Q3, right? And now it seems like we're not going to be able to have any alpha combat till probably
Till autumn.
the end of Q3. Yeah.
That's not
Yeah,
too
so-
bad though. That's not,
Mhm.
okay.
No, not too bad. But
They're
hopefully
speaking
that's when
quarters.
the actual alpha gameplay comes out, right?
And they did say that
So-
they're going to put out some kind of guides in July. They're going to start adding
Oh,
some
yeah.
guides on how to do the fighting.
Which I love that because it gives us time to practice, right? Makes us good at the game, and then we could just earn more Messina coin, more essence that way as well.
Beating some ass in the arena.
I'm super stoked on that guide. I think that's going to be a moment where we might see a jump up in the price of our primes.
And when what
Like,
Dip
it'll
said too,
definitely. Yeah,
well, I'm just saying, it's
I
like
think that-
like the playing of the game itself. Like that's the best. Like there's no more hype you can do than actually having real gameplay. There's no Twitter audience that's better than that. There's nothing. Nothing is better than having real actual gameplay that's fun and engaging, right? And I think we talked about this in episode 1. Is that we're here because we know a good game is coming out. But go ahead, y'all were talking.
Yeah, the other
But
thing
didn't
that was pushed back, I guess, I mean, I don't, is breeding. I don't know if they actually ever said when they would have breeding, but apparently
I think Dip said it.
it's
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's
That's
Day. Yeah.
romantic.
well, I think they'll
evening.
probably have breeding before Valentine's Day. They just made a mention about Valentine's Day being like something that's to me. I'm just going to speculate here and say, based on the fact that they'd already talked about Valentine's Day on a previous AMA being something like one of the resets for your breeding, I think that they might just have unlimited breeding rather than how champions have a limit of 3 breeds. That might be a time when they have
They reset it.
no limits for your breeding. Not even a reset. I mean, obviously they'll reset for everyone back to 0, but I think that might be a time when they're just going to allow free breeding for a certain amount of time.
Mhm.
Total
Yeah.
speculation.
That might be the one big event. Like, you know how Johnny was telling us there's going to be events for us to do. Valentine's Day is a perfect event to breed and probably breed for free. Also, with the free pets dropping on 7/6/22, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hoarders are going to be free of charge and gas free. It's not going to charge us a damn thing to get these pets, which is cool.
They're just dropping them. We wake
Yeah.
up one day, we see them in our wallet.
I wish there was a way we could change our wallet that they were going to go into, because I'd rather have them go into my cold wallet so I don't have to transfer them.
Let's talk about that. I think we're all over the place right now. So, what changed in the timeline? Just a couple things. Just they pushed back the staking, the land because of the staking for obvious reasons. I think that has to do with they didn't say it, but you know we're like Johnny Casamassina said himself, we're fucking usually right. I'm pretty sure they pushed that back because of the macro economy. Maybe, right? That's speculation.
It on that one. It says that you will want land when it becomes available in 2023. It doesn't say early, late, middle, or anything. It just says 2023.
Yeah, and that's fine. You know, I'm going. This is why sometimes when it comes to voting, like, and I'm going to go off tangent right here, but sometimes it's not good to just go by the voters because I think everybody would say we want staking right now, and we'd crash our fucking economy. Mm-hmm. That's why it's good to have professionals and people who spend all of their fucking time thinking about and researching these things, making those calls. That's my vote is to nominate somebody to make those damn calls, and that's why we're here with these talented devs. But yeah, that's one thing that was pushed back. The gameplay itself, it seems sort of on track, right? And we see that with the game leaks. It's a playable. It looks like it's a playable game, you know. So it looks like that's on track still. And I think that's perfect to have the game out and us playing, and we get that benefit of playing it first, and then showing everybody, hey, you can play this game if you jump in and get one of these NFTs. I feel really good about that.
So yeah, one thing as well that no one's really kind of discussed is the effect that NFT NYC is going to have on this project.
They're up for a couple awards, yes sir.
And
great exposure.
What that's going to do to the floor. I mean, honestly, I don't see us having anything under 10 ETH floor after next week.
I wish.
Damn, B 10 ETH.
No, I mean the ones that are currently up for sale. I think they're all like anything under that is going to be swept, and then we're just there's only like 30.
Maybe
30
so.
left.
Like I don't know. I mean, I think honestly, I think I'm sticking with the gameplay. I think that's the biggest thing that will happen. Right, in this game at least, in this project, will be the gameplay. That's going to be when we see. That's when we're going to see the potential, some of the potential.
Squiddy does his thing and gets networking with people, and some big whales come and see it.
That's true too.
If it's just hype, I don't want just hype buying.
Yeah.
Personally, because again, I'm a holder. But I don't necessarily want hype buying. Like I want real utility. I want that gameplay. I want that staking. I want it all.
I want it to be the real value.
I want to go
game.
fishing. Damn it.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sick of Minecraft fishing.
All right. And then so the timeline changed a little bit, and I think we're in agreement. It's like I think we're bullish because at least we have the information, which is not a lot to ask for, right? And we never would have been unbullish if we would have been just updated, in a timely manner. But we're fine now. All's forgiven. Those pets, Dip, we said it. We got an actual date on the pets, and it's only in a couple of weeks. That's interesting
and exciting because I want to look at them. And they said, like, what kind of traits do they have? We'll be able to, like, when you click on a Prime, you can see it has death wings or life fangs. Like, is our pets going to have the same thing?
It's going to be its own NFT, right?
They are.
They'll have essences. They'll be affiliated with a house, right?
Yeah.
So that means there's going to be 7 different iterations of every single pet right from the get-go. So
I guess that's the question. I guess is it going to start with the 3 essences or the all 7 essences too?
That's a good point too. That's true.
I hope they just do all of them. We know the elemental drop is coming. Like we have a date. We have a rough date for the elemental drop. So I'm kind of hoping they just do all of it at once. My personal feel.
Well, there's two different pets. So some of the holders with the holders perks will get a specific pet, correct?
Yes.
What's the name in the which one is that? That's like that fire looking dog, right? What is that?
That's the Shiva.
Shiva? Is that how you say it?
The little one that. Yeah, that's. I mean, think about it. Xi Jinping from China. It's XI. That's how XI is pronounced as Xi. So
Yeah, I totally put
Shiva,
that together. Z. I was totally thinking about that. That's how I would have gotten there.
What is Mandarin? His Mandarin classes.
Yep.
um. So the holders and Dip, what you got? 12 of those coming? Like, what do you got, Dip?
I got. I'm looking right now. I got 18 pets because the Founders Edition, right? For when you minted, you get one pet per NFT, and then there's another Founders Edition holders bonus, which gives you one limited print NFT per pet champion. I don't know what that means. I
Which
don't know if
is
that's
that
a
pet? That's that Shiba
right,
pet.
right. Might be.
I think they
Well-
said that in the AMA. They said there's the one that's slotted for the people that get the holder perks, and then everybody else gets like the other pets randomly dropped,
That
and
might be
and
it.
the holders get that too.
Yeah. I mean, we
That
have a lot
limited
of
edition pet, then man. Like, let's stay there for a second, man. That limited
Mhm.
edition pet, and it's not even all 7622. There's way fewer
Right.
than that. It's just the
Right.
people that held
right.
until that certain date. I think it was like 4 weeks after mint or something. Like on mint, and then 4 weeks after mint. I think I'm getting 2 because I got the double trouble perk, and so, but those are going to be extremely rare. It's like that pet itself. If they never make it again, or
And you guys, these
Yeah.
pets look 100 times better than any goblin. I'll tell you that.
bro, just the pets. I know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you can
I'm
look at
wondering
something
though
like.
about the
Go ahead, Matt.
Shiba, if it's going to have the different elemental or the different essences as well, considering it's just going to be for the holders, right? Like, not only will it be a special pet, but if it's going to have the essences as well, like that's going to be an extremely rare pet, and it very very hard to hold all of the different essences of that type of pet. So like, out of all of them, I think that's going to be the one to go for.
Hell yeah, that's the ones, because it's rarity by itself. If rarity is still a thing that holds up in the NFT world, which I think it will be, right? Because it shows that it only shows so you only can have so many. Like
Right.
it's a precious thing. And I'm wondering, like back to like the traits and characteristics of the pets. Is there going to be some sort of equivalent to divinity in them?
Yeah.
And these are all airdrops, so some people are going to get luckier than others, right? It's like, are you going to get a 3D Shiba pet airdrop? Like, and what does those go for? What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but Power5 in chat made a comment about how the devs did mention that if your pet that you have equipped or whatever matches your essence, then you'd get some kind of a boost in combat.
Oh yeah,
And these guys have different utilities, right? Like some of these pets, like I said, what if like for instance, the blub, the cramster, right? What if their special ability is they can dig underground and find these like if you have your property on a certain like by a mine and there's crystals or whatever down there, and the blub because the cramster is named Blub can dig underground and actually get that resource, right? Like these pets are going to have individual utilities. That's what I think is going to make them so special. And if you look on that, you know how they gave us that picture of it looks like the Grondo, he's all drunk outside and there's all kinds of clues on there. If you look in the right-hand corner, you can see Anubis, the dog, that I'm thinking that's a pet as well.
oh, I seen that one, all the way to the right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Didn't we do we have access? I'm asking like the most basic stupid questions, so forgive me here. This is what I do. Do we know what all the pets are already? Have we seen the images of them? I think they described them in an article, correct?
Yeah, they
All
have
the
it up
standards.
on the Prime Minds in the game leaks, I believe.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, they described all the pets already. So yeah, I don't know what
Interesting. So-
what that other one is.
Yeah, I'm looking at that image that you guys were talking about in the alley.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I kind of passed over, and I just saw just barely, is this DM toolkit chest.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I'm
See
kind of
that.
curious, what does that mean? Does that mean that there's going to be some kind of a, for those people that are into those like RPGs or role play, Dungeons and Dragons type stuff? Does that mean we're going to be able to get something like that where we can have our own campaigns in the game? Like, you
There's
know,
a lot of hints in this. Are you talking about the Ellie image, Gonzaga?
yeah. Like,
Man, there's so many hints in there. I didn't even have time to think about it. There's so much stuff in there.
because you know how
But
they.
the one thing that there's one thing that's missing in this alley. There's one thing that I just distinctly didn't see, and that is a Prime Minds logo.
Oh,
I
there
don't
are
see a-
right.
I don't see a
Yep.
sticker for that. What's going on, y'all?
it's
Like
not- we're
I
not-
feel snubbed a little bit.
Bro. Thank you, Vita. Thank you for bringing that up, bro. We're not gonna let them get away with shit. We need some now. We have to see a Prime Minds logo somewhere now. We will demand it.
I want a patch. I wanted it to be a patch on this drunk dude. A patch on his tunic.
Yeah,
That was one thing. While we're mentioning it, that was one thing that I saw that was missing on their website as well when it said join the discussion. Where is the link to the Prime Minds podcast? If we're not the discussion, what the fuck is the discussion of Champions Ascension, boys?
That too. That too. They did update the website, right? I know I gave them a little bit of shit last time talking about the website. You know, that they check it off the list. They put it on the list. They did it. They checked it off. Good. That's progress. For any progress is good. So I'm glad they did it. That was on the updated roadmap, correct?
Yes.
Updating the website. Boom. Good. Let's get going. They already knocked that one out the park. Let's keep it going. Momentum is important.
Yeah, definitely. And you can download your champions wallpaper and poster. Also, the side pics, as you guys see, we have in the podcast right now. Like, those are pretty cool things to have, especially and they were unexpected, which I like that too.
Yeah, it's I'm digging it. So with the this is a question to you guys. I like that purple dog, and I'm over here. I don't know the fucking names. I should know them. That purple bulldog that just sitting up in front and the Ellie picture. That like I want to get one of those.
Yeah.
Yes, must be him. Like that's the one I'm waiting. Like I want to get a couple of those guys. What's your guys' favorite pets?
Man, I want that hardcore crab. For some reason, I don't know. That's the one that gets me is the crab.
With
Yeah,
you,
it's
Z,
cool.
I love I want either a hardcore crab or a beetle. I love the beetles.
Oh yeah, blinging. And that's the new logo.
Really?
Yeah,
beetle.
that'll be important, man. That's the logo. I'll take one of those too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Beetle and the bulldog. I gotta agree.
Think
See, I want to
you
get
think
one of
it'll
the crabs.
Generate passive income or something. The beetle.
I think all these
Nah, I
pets.
don't think so.
I think
You
all
think
these
so?
pets can help you.
Yeah.
Get something to get that right, that essence or whatever. Whether it's an animal that helps you get resources for foraging. They help you complete missions, which you can get. You could possibly get ETH for completing or essence for completing certain missions. I think they're going to be a big help.
Mhm.
I want the Sumpter. That squiddy horse.
Oh yeah, that's the one that's like kind of big. Or is it? Do we know the scale of them?
I don't know. I think it's a mount. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
though.
I think that's a pet.
I don't think that's a pet, B.
You might get mounts. We could
the-
get mounts later.
The Papyrus, or the Papyrus, or however you want to pronounce it, that one looks big enough to be able to ride. The big cat.
I don't know, Z. How would they say it in China?
I don't know. They call it. It's a big cat. They call it a teriyaki, bro.
Oh gosh.
All right, so give it to us in Spanish at least. But well, let me ask the chat. I don't know, the chat's active. Like, what kind of pets you guys want to see? Just throw them in there. I'm curious to see what pets people are waiting for, and of course, like we look at the actual the families, right? There's 12 families of the PEs, and I think there's premiums on some of them. The Gatekeeper. I think there was a time where the floor of the Gatekeeper was 1 ETH. I have not looked at it recently, but depending on the families, some have a higher demand than others. And I got a nice Gatekeeper myself, so I was happy to see that.
And speaking of Gatekeeper, and speaking of Whispers and all that, Elemental Champions are coming out, and it says near the Eve of Hollows, October 31st. And if you guys see the Whisperer, like in his wings, the fire essence, it just looks so badass.
Man, those fire wings are dope as fuck.
Mhm.
You're not even lying.
That water Gatekeeper looks very, very good. It's a
Yeah.
very good looking prime.
She looks even better on on the website. They cycle through some elementals, and those pictures on there look dope. They look amazing. Like water baking from there looks.
Mac, you're breaking up
Kinda
a little
breaking
bit.
up.
On the.
I think we got you back a little bit. But
Yeah,
so go ahead. Yeah,
You hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the pictures they have on their website, like they have one of the water gatekeeper on there, and she looks so much better even than the one that they put in the game leaks on their Twitter.
Yeah,
Damn.
like she's all like weaving the water around her.
They're going to drive demand for those other essences. Let's talk about that then, since we're there. So, overall thoughts on the essences. Me, I'll go first. Like, I think they're setting it up correctly. Having the gameplay out first, leading into October, the end of October. Sounds like they said Halloween, to introduce like a new run of champion NFTs, which would be the other 4 essences. The gameplay might get a lot of people's attention, and then you're introducing a new run of NFTs for your chance to get into the game. I think that those are going to have to be as good as possible, right? And I already know the sentiment of a lot of holders are going to be like, oh, we're supposed to have the best ones. We should be able to squash everything else that comes next. Okay, I agree with that too, because I'm holding a Prime Eternal myself. But the new 4 essences will have to be good enough to get more people in the game so that they're not at such a disadvantage. And of course, that's another balancing act. So what are you guys' thoughts about those new essences coming out?
Yeah.
And are you going to buy?
Yeah, so this is Benzaga, and this is my thoughts on that, is that, so we have Prime Eternals, that can't die, right? And they're generating the Messina tokens and Diamond Hand tokens. So I think these new ones, maybe, have they ever said that the other ones cannot die? Maybe they can die. Maybe you buy them, and if you lose in combat, they burn it.
The Eternals can't. The top 2 tiers, Prime Eternals
Right.
and Eternals can't.
So Eternals can-
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
These are Eternals, right?
Gotcha.
All those new 4 essences are Eternals, correct?
Yeah, from
Well,
what
that's
I
our
hear,
understanding.
they could be revived at a certain place in Messina.
Gotcha.
You could take their bones and they could be revived. I don't know if it's for a price. Might be.
Yeah, they said that, right?
Bonus.
You can either revive them or you can turn their parts into weapons and shit, right?
Right.
So-
I don't think they said that the mint is going to be Eternals. They just said they're elementals so
The
far.
elementals, right.
They have not explicitly said that, but they said you can breed you can breed primes with Prime Eternals. So I don't see why they would release anything different, knowing that one of the big things on our minds is breeding, right? And they did say that breeding a Prime Eternal with an Eternal gives you an advantage in increasing the generalizability of your stable, because those are the
have
two
new
those are the
traits.
2 founders. Yeah. You're gonna have to get the elemental traits matched with life only through breeding those 2 types together, which I think is pretty fascinating. I think that's a cool play.
Yeah, it just makes me curious. What's the other, like, aside from being able to fight in combat and play with them in the game and stuff, like what are the passive benefits of having one? That's what I'm curious about.
Back to what Vita said is that even though I just set it up like, oh, it's great, I need the next run to be very good, which I think we all do. It kind of it hit me the wrong way when it's like, oh, you all have the Prime Eternals, but once you get one of these, you're gonna have a better, more traits, and you'll be better off. Almost like they kind of want to force us to buy it. I don't know. That just hit me the wrong way a little bit. But I think at the end of the day, I might. Pretty sure, since I'm bought into this game, I think this game has a big, bright future ahead of it. I'm going to grab a couple of those too. I'll take a close look at it.
Any money going into our economy is good, guys. So like when they, there's a cost associated with it. I always look towards that's just going into the into the Messina economy, and I'm for that. Because we were talking about it a lot. I was talking to it about one of the Prime Syndicate members, and I know we had scholarship programs, but a lot of people are kind of scared of that scholarship program, right? Because a lot of people who are going to be playing that game are just going to be cashing out that essence, right, for real money. And in turn, that could affect the price of our coin.
Yeah, it'll
So,
lower it.
And that again, Dip, I I feel like I'm just antagonizing you today. That's not really my point. But again, to me, it's an optics and utility thing that I'm just confused about. And I have to agree with King Dav. Like this was another one of the things on the roadmap where I was like, really? That's the way you want to go? Like that's just interesting to me because we've already said we're not going to have any real utility, at least from a earning perspective, for another 6 months after the release of the elementals. And I saw, this was somebody brought this up, I believe it was Predex in chat as well on YouTube. So they're essentially we're just having to buy more stuff to have sit around in our wallets, not really doing anything. And that to me is just an odd look. Like that to me is not really benefiting your long-term holders. You know what I'm saying? Like
I think that's where the gameplay comes in, though, right? That's why I'm happy the gameplay is coming. It looks like first, and the better the game, the more people would want to come in, would want to grab an elemental, and come in the game, or the PE and come in the game. But then we're still waiting. We're still waiting with a much larger group of people.
I kind of see where you're coming from, BDG, where it's like, so we've already got 7,622 that we purchased. We've been holding on to. And then instead of providing us a means to, either, they haven't said it's going to be like another minting process or whitelist or anything like that. And so I don't know, like we're just kind of assuming a lot of things here. But like, why aren't we the ones supplying these instead of just have like CA is just going to generate, 10,000 or 20,000 or whatever and sell them? Like, why aren't we the ones that are just the source of that?
Well, I think this goes along the lines of we speculated, boys. I think almost 2 months ago we were talking about the elemental stuff, and we were speculating that they were most likely going to be doing a second mint, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, they've confirmed that they're doing another mint with the elementals, and we already speculated back then too that it was probably going to be shortly before full game release. So that's the way you drum up. It's free marketing. It's the way you drum up more interest in the project. Yeah. And it looks like what they're planning on doing right now is they're going to be releasing combat gameplay and the stuff that's happening over the summer, the interactions, the social interactions. So they'll have all this alpha come out where we as Prime holders will be playing the game. We'll be streaming it, and we'll be streaming our gameplay over the Prime Minds Twitch. Other people will be doing it and be getting views. And then what's going to happen is they'll be having the second mint with the elementals, and that's going to massively probably hopefully drive up the interactions and level of involvement with the community in Discord, and get all eyes back on Champions Ascension, right? So this is right up their alley. And again, most likely speculation here, but they're going to do this prior to actual full game release, which will most likely be, if they're doing this at the end of October, beginning of November, we're looking at probably a holiday full game release. Because, I mean, think about it. When do games mostly get released? Around the holidays, right? When do they have time? When do people want to spend money? Right around Black Friday and Christmas, right?
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense why they're going to be doing this right at the end of the year, because that is the normal game release schedule. Right?
Yeah.
So they'll most likely be doing this and then releasing full gameplay at the end of this year. No matter whether we have access to staking until next year, land until next year, whatever.
Then the breeding comes in. But we speculated on that. It might be a free event, but honestly, just based on the updated roadmap, like they identified breeding in February near Valentine's Day. So I think that still kind of works out.
Way before that, man.
I don't know.
Think about it. If they're gonna have full game release though, towards speculation towards the end of the year and the holidays, like they're gonna need us to, as Prime holders and the Elemental holders, to breed to be able to allow new people to come in.
That raises another question, Mac, is how many of that drop is going to be in the Elementals? Like, what's that number going to be? It doesn't have to be 10,000. It could be 20,000. It could be 50,000.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And so then they see what the market looks like. If that sells out, which I mean, let's think about it. The elemental drop is going to be a huge test of what the game's potential is. Because before the elemental drop, we're going to have gameplay, right?
Yes.
And so if the gameplay is good enough, we're going to start drawing a lot of people, a lot of eyeballs to CA, and then people are going to dive in. They can go back. They're going to listen to our podcast from episode 1 to now. They're like, oh, that's some dope shit. And then it's going to drive people to the game. And when the elementals get released, we already had, it was a little bit clunky the first mint we had. We all went through it. Hopefully they honed that in right now. And if the elemental sells out, then there's going to be a reason to really ramp up the breeding, right? Yeah. Maybe around Valentine's Day when the full game's released.
Well, in the roadmap, listen to this about the combat, right? It has been a slow fight season while the Coliseum Eternal is closed for Imperial renovations. But fear not, I plan on opening the arena again soon on a limited basis. Although everything that the Emperor does is perfect the first time. Some of the fight masters wish to test the arena and practice combat beforehand. I will call this an alpha opening. My construction magistrate assures me this will be opening sometime near autumn. So I'm expecting us to get arena combat near autumn.
Which would probably be after the mint, right? After October 31st.
No, I think it'll be. I think it has to be before.
Oh, okay.
It has to be
near
before.
Autumn. Yeah.
So we drive the demand for the new mint.
Right.
You think they'll have breeding by then, or
no, the fighting,
the combat in the arena.
Okay.
Can I ask Bunzaga a question? Because Bunzaga has actually developed games, right? So this is an alpha opening, which sounds like, based off of the conversation we were having last night, this would be a closed alpha in the fact that just the Prime Eternal holders would be the ones who would be able to do this alpha gameplay. So they got to do closed alpha, then they have to do open beta, then they would actually release. What is the general timeline for game development and all of those processes to happen?
I mean, that could take a couple months, or 2 to 3 months. I mean, it depends on 2 to 3 months between each phase. So if they have like closed alpha, closed beta, and then I don't know if they're going to have like an open beta. That might not fit into this setting, but usually what would happen. So what this sounds like to me is they're going to be doing focus testing, where they're going to have like specific times when you can go into the arena and do combat, and then they're going to take, like they mentioned on the AMA, they do all kinds of data analytics and things like that to see what's going on, see how much, if people are winning too often with a certain champion, or a certain ability has too much power. They'll probably do polls on Discord to see like how people felt about different things, like whether or not they felt like it was fair and stuff like that. And so they're probably going to be iterating on that combat development at least for a few months to get it right.
Mm-hmm.
So you're thinking possibly us being able to play since September is the beginning of autumn, right? And so we may be able to be playing in September, which would give us 2 full months to play before they do their elemental mint. After that, they would have a lot more people to be able to bring into beta as well.
And probably more abilities depending on what the elementals bring.
And the cool thing is we're going to be getting a guide in July, right? Like a guide of how to combat will get us ready. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then again, with the elementals comes the breeding, right? I think is there a time? So the Valentine's Day, so then are the ones we're holding, the Prime Eternals can breed with the elementals. They're saying that would give it more of a benefit or an advantage because you're mixing the different character traits. So you have maybe a wider selection of tools to use. What do you guys think is like maybe a good strategy with the breeding? I think for one, they're saying the purity parts are going to be passed down, like more likely to be passed down. If you have a life and a matching purity part, that part will most likely be passed down. So I think like right off the bat, like a epic matching traits will be good. Those are likely to be passed down. But I'm also thinking maybe if you keep it more pure with all Prime Eternal breeding with Prime Eternal, maybe there's an advantage to that too than mixing it up. What do you guys think? Are you guys excited about breeding, or how are you thinking about that?
That's going to bring a whole new meta. That's going to be how the metas are developed per season, right? Like I know with Axie Infinity, it was all about what they were nerfing and buffing. And I'm guessing since they want this to be an iterative game, which evolves over time, it's going to be the same thing. Like, when we first start out, people will figure out what is the best combination of parts, and they'll start trying to breed for that. And then Jam City is going to come in and be like, oh, that's too strong. We don't want everyone just to have the same, say it's a Derol with 3 life parts, a death part, and an arcane part. Like everyone will be trying to get that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then Jam City will come in and they'll nerf those parts, so then it'll be considered a new season, and people will be going for maybe a Grondel, that has life horns and death fangs, and the rest of it's arcane.
It's a
You never
great
know.
combination.
Exactly.
Yeah, who
then
remembers
when-
Halo 2? We're talking about Halo 2. Like, just so you know, Prime Minds, like, we're setting up a gaming squad. I used to play Halo 2, and you guys might get mad at this, but I used to use a battle rifle with a plasma gun. And when you put those combos together, you're just straight killing people.
You're a sweat. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I could snipe a little bit with the sniper rifle too, right? If I couldn't find a sniper rifle, I use that combination. So you find the good combo that works. Like you're gonna dominate for a minute, until CA finds out with those iterations, and they even said in the last AMA, it's like they're going to improve. They're going to get feedback. They get feedback in real time with their games, and they improve it, make it better, make it more fair, maybe.
And you know what's interesting is these elementals. I'm pretty sure they're going to have matching parts too. Fire with fire wings, right? So that's going to play a big part in breeding. Now, if you breed an elemental with an eternal, like say you have a 4P death and then you have a 3P fire, how is that going to come out?
Right.
And that was another interesting. They did hint at they didn't hint at. They directly stated some things about the genetics inheritance of the breeds, which I think was interesting. Right, all of our parts have both a dominant and a recessive gene to them. The recessive gene is never physically displayed. It's never part of their phenotype of the challenger, but that can get passed on, obviously at a lower percentage than your dominant genes. So there's some, I don't know, just interesting stuff with that, where it's like, well, what are these recessive genes that we can't see that are apparently a part of all of our Prime Eternals, but we just don't know that they're there yet? So there is a ton of behind the scenes work that is getting done on breeding, and I'm really stoked on that. People really like to nerd out on the genetics and inheritance.
I like that
in breeding.
I wonder if that's just random, or if they come with something like a trait that we can't see, right? Like a non-dominant trait, recessive trait that we can't see, or if it's just random, which gets me excited, right? Maybe we have a shot to get more epic traits in there, or rare when we just had just a common. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's interesting stuff. I love the breeding part of it.
Yeah, all I know is I'm glad that they gave us a time period. That they said October 31st, because I'm saving up and I'm going to buy at least 2 of each. Because and then last minute it was like 3 days.
Bullish.
I'm going to prepare this
Bullish.
time. Oh yeah.
And another thing is, what's the mint price, right? Like they can't be more than Prime Eternal, so they got to be cheap. I would say 0.1 would be fair, maybe.
And that's way lower if you're just thinking in fiat terms. Mm-hmm. And then you got to go by price, and then if it is that much lower, like even we're translating that to like the USD, like US dollar,
right?
It's a lot lower than when we got in. And if it's too close in like abilities or effectiveness or good character, then that might not be fair. Although I forget that the Prime Eternals are the ones that you can stake and earn the Messina from.
Right.
So it could very well be 0.1. Yeah.
I think it's going to be a non-crypto price. I think what they're going to do is they're going to have a fiat price, because they'll probably most likely want to introduce the custodial wallets when they do this. Would be my guess. Just
makes sense.
And they'll probably do a fiat price of, again, with a game release, you want to keep it something that's going to be affordable for the masses. And game prices right now range between $50 and $70.
Damn.
So I have a feeling that it's going to be a fiat price of sub $100.
That makes a lot of sense. And it also kind of ties back to what we were talking about how we should be the source of that, of the generation of that. So I
Mhm.
wonder if, this is just speculation. I wonder if staking will happen sooner, and we'll be generating that fiat. And then when the mint happens, people have to buy that from us in order to purchase one of these.
And that brings up a perfect sense because remember they said a DAO, they partnership with the DAO that was going to provide liquidity.
Mhm. They also said
Explain
once
it,
they
Dow.
have everything
The
fit for
DAO
a
part of
DAO,
this.
then
Yeah, let's
they'll
let,
be
let's
released
for the
for
audience
staking.
that's just joining the Web3 space. Maybe DAO is decentralized autonomous organization. So really, what that means is there's not a person controlling the price up and down. Like you can compare that to the we talk about it a lot, but the overall market in USD currency, it's like they can increase or decrease the interest rate, or increase or decrease the money supply to make things, maybe function better economically. So with the DAO, it's like the market just sets its own price for the most part. So very Web3 decentralized. The supply and the demand and the market price is what sets that price.
Right. And
But go ahead.
Aber said that too in Twitter Spaces, right? They want to be true Web3. I'm glad we heard from him too, because you get his thoughts on what he thinks about the Web3 space. And he's like, yeah, it needs to be decentralized.
I thought that was
Yeah, that was my
amazing.
first time hearing from him. Like right? Did we hear from him before?
I
No.
don't think so.
Shout out to Aber, man. He had a lot of the answers that I had questions to. He even spoke about like why they chose to be on the actual blockchain they chose, which I forgot the name. Honestly, I don't think a name
EVM.
is important. But again,
I think it was EVM.
yeah,
Yep.
okay, yeah.
It's an Ethereum
Equals
virtual machine.
Mm.
I
So
like
pretty
the
much,
rationale.
Yeah, in chat, Clinton's asking who were the guests. There was actually like 5 of them. Was it more than that? So there was Christy Wolf, who
Aber,
else? Aber, Ice Toad,
Aber Whitcomb,
Johnny,
Johnny Casamassina,
Johnny,
and Thomas.
Troy
right?
Whitlock.
Troy Whitlock.
Troy, yeah, there you go.
And Squiddy hosting.
And Squiddy.
Yeah, but the Aber, he had all of the like a lot of the information on the tokenomics part too, and the rationale behind the blockchain they were on, and the rationale makes a lot of sense. And I'll tell you, here's what I was thinking about, like just listening to it, reading between the lines, is of course like the NFTs should have been introduced under the Ethereum blockchain just for obvious reasons. It's the one that people know, right? It's the one that has the liquidity on it. But that's not good to run a game on, obviously. The gas is too high. And so what they did was found a blockchain where they can kind of run it privately, where because when you go to Ethereum, if you're trying to make a purchase when there's a lot of hype around the project that even has nothing to do with the project that you're trying to buy into, gas gets like extremely out of this world, right? We've seen gas prices like over $1,000. Like we've seen that with
Yuga Labs.
Yeah, we've seen what Yuga
Other
Labs with the
dudes.
land. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Man,
so
I got
like
ripped off, and I was trying to transfer like $200 over to my wallet. I only ended up getting 90.
damn.
I didn't pay attention to the gas prices, man.
You got to see what's going on in the markets, right? With this, it's like they're kind of leasing or renting or owning their own part of the blockchain where they can scale it in the way they want. They can monitor when there's a lot of activity happening, so they can make sure that gas prices stay low or hopefully virtually free.
And that's what
so that was rationale.
Yeah, that's what Aber said. That really jumped out to me too. He's like, guys, like we're trying to find a platform, an EVM that we can scale, because you can't scale on the Ethereum blockchain. You can't. It's just way too expensive. Economy wise, it just doesn't make any sense. So that he said like, hey, by going over here and making it private, we can actually scale this game big.
Right.
Yeah, well, making
Circling
it private
all-
also makes it so that it's strictly Jam City blockchain, essentially, right? By creating our own Ethereum virtual machine, and we're essentially creating they're creating their own blockchain where they have complete control over it. So you have nothing else to worry about when it comes to like you're talking about with other projects. You don't have to worry about that. They have the ability to see every aspect of it still, because it's still creating its own blocks. So everything's still completely transparent.
Yeah.
It's way more Web3 than just saying like, oh yeah, we're just gonna use Ethereum, and good luck for everybody on your timing.
Right.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, the other thing
I love it.
that had me fired up about this conversation was that they said that they've been working with other NFT projects, and they're trying to figure out a way to bring them into Messina. Being able to, like, if you're have a what is it, crypto gorilla or something like that. I don't know what it's called, but or just any of them. It's like if you have a game out there, an existing NFT, or not even a game, it's just an NFT. Bored Ape Yacht Club. It's like,
Were they say something like that?
yeah, they're trying to figure out ways to bring other projects into Messina.
Okay.
Metaverse.
Pull
Amber
Ready
talked
Player
about-
One up.
Patsy?
Sorry, what?
So they're gonna pull a Ready Player One on us and have an Oasis. They're gonna be the creators of the Oasis, or what? Is that what you got out of that, Gonzaga?
Yeah, I think that's spectacular. Because a lot of these projects, they're just centered on themselves. They're just centered on my success. What are we doing? What about our community or whatever? And it's just so much bigger than that. It's like huge.
I agree.
I like that.
And this team has the skill and they have the scalability to do it. That's the biggest thing. The metaverse, everybody wants to talk about metaverse, this and that. First of all, do you have the capabilities of making a metaverse? Because Jam City does.
Right. You have to be able to like. It's two completely different skills. Being able to scale and do something on just a huge level and having the infrastructure and experience of doing that is experience I think a lot of NFT projects don't have. Like they can make it big. Like they can run big systems and big projects. So they said a little bit of that like on the AMA, which is like, oh yeah, that is why I'm here. Do you know what I'm saying? Because that's a skill not a lot of projects have.
Mm-hmm.
And experience.
And did you see too the partnerships? They pixelated the face out, and that was a big thing too. Like, who is this person?
I'm gonna say it again. It better be Snoop Dogg. If it's Snoop Dogg, I will give him all my money. I will sell everything I own. Just buy everything.
Oh, time out! I'm
Country
looking
related.
right now. That does look like Snoop.
Look at the hands. Look at the
It
hands.
could be.
Yeah,
it could be, bro. I'm stoked.
Oh shit! The homie Snoop, West Coast. Yeah, yeah. We covered a lot. Did we talk about the gameplay yet? I know Ice Toad. We touched on it a little bit, but Ice Toad was talking about the fighting, having the fighting guide coming out pretty soon, and he even dropped some alpha on some of the things these characteristics would do. I think he mentioned two of them. One of them I listened to closely because I have these fangs, these death fangs. Said, well, poison the other person, kind of make them so they can't see, so the different traits, maybe the different divinities will have different effects. And I think this guide is coming out soon. What did you guys get from that? What Ice Toad's part where he was talking about some of the battle gameplay?
I wrote down notes on all of this stuff. So just to recap what he said, four things. There are four things that will determine kind of your combat abilities. So first is weapons, and weapons are high damage with low sort of passive effects. Then you have your family, which gives you some sort of passive boost in combat. Then your essence, which this was new, at least to me. He talked about an ultimate ability, or the Fury of the Titans, which sounds like it's some sort of like slow build throughout combat, and then it's an ability that you'll be able to process or proc once you've built up the time for it. He said that's all based on Essence, the ultimate Fury of the Titans. And then the final one was the parts, and the parts have medium damage and then sort of a high effects sort of thing. So that's where he was talking about some life horns where you can bash somebody in the face with your life horns and their spirit will actually momentarily leave their body. They will have to scramble back. They'll have to scramble back to their physical body in order to regain control of their PE, which sounds so cool.
Left the soul out of you. You just you're so knocked out.
Yeah, dude. Spirit left your body for a minute. Like, whoa.
Johnny mentioned fatalities too.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But they don't know if that's a possibility yet, right?
Yeah.
They don't. They didn't say if they're going to have fatalities or not.
If Johnny wants it, we're getting it.
Most likely.
I mean, it's honestly, it's visuals, right? It's like, you do a spectacular move and you see the visual, somebody's head coming off in the arena. Like, some dope shit like that. But
Yeah, it could be
I
even
think
your
they'll do it.
parts. Like, we have the claws, like my Grundle, right? What if my Grundle just fucking takes his claws and just like rips your head off and throws it into the crowd? Like, that's a fatality.
I see that as like an in-app purchase. That's just my the developer side
That's
of
a
me.
vanity purchase.
Yeah, because maybe normally you just get like your basic fatality or basic kill, but then you can purchase something just to make you chop
They're
chop
definitely
off
gonna
your
get money
dance.
for me.
yeah.
That or have a quest to be able to gain it, right?
That'd be
That
cool.
could be something that they have in the game where it's like,
That would be
oh,
really
go do
cool.
this, and then you earn this fatality for limited time.
Some
right?
crazy complex quest that Ryan thought up.
Yep.
Go
And then
through
they
the
most
lore.
likely fatalities would only be, after the Emperor gives his up or down thumb, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah, that would be
And
cool.
remember from our conversation with Kaz Messina, he said the dude loves Mortal Kombat. That's like one of
Yeah.
his favorite game franchises of all time.
Right.
That has good taste.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wonder-
that might
No, go
come in-
ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to say, since neither of y'all are talking, that we got to remember the fact that before they said that your body parts weren't going to do shit. So they're definitely listening to the community because, I know we talked about it previously, and in Discord, people are like, what are your horns going to do? What are your fangs going to do? Can we slice people up with our wings,
I don't
like-
think they said that definitely wasn't. They just didn't have like the answer.
No, they
yet.
did though.
Claws. They said the claws didn't do anything.
Yeah, they said they were
Right.
just
Oh,
they were
shit.
just for looks, and
Yep.
everybody was like,
well.
everyone was like, no, we want them to do something.
Yep.
Right.
That is
There
a
you go.
community win right there, boys.
That was a community win.
We're
And then
making it better. That's the Web3.
I think in Twitter Spaces they said also, like, say if you had death fangs and you bit somebody, then that poison would that poison would take away their health little at a time.
Yeah,
Can't
they
blind
don't.
them.
They're like kind of fuzzy. They can't see straight. Can't see
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Oh man, and my best one. I don't want to build it up too much. My best one has death fangs too. So I'm coming at y'all. Well, you better watch out in the arena.
What's your next? More dots.
Yep. No, I was gonna ask. Then I wonder if the NFT itself gets the upgrade, if that's even possible. Like that's more of a technical Web3 programming question. Is like say we do those those single player adventures and win something or buy something, and if that's attached to the NFT itself, that has a fatality.
I think that's
To
more
add
like
value.
I think that's more like a loadout type thing. I don't think it's. I think you have your base character with its stats, and then you have to have some kind of equipment screen where you could put that as an option.
It should all be NFT based.
It might be an
I
NFT
think.
though. It could
should.
be an NFT. It's just like it's an ability NFT. It's not an
Hmm.
item.
That would be so dope. That would be so dope. To have a
It should be.
fatality NFT that you could put onto any of your champions or sell to someone else.
Yeah. Look at all the options in this game, man. That's what I'm saying. We just got here. It's like the opportunities are endless.
I
The
mean,
things that they can do.
you look at the economy side, right? You can sell food, you could sell armor, you could probably sell blueprints from what I'm seeing.
Well, yeah, they said that for sure. The blueprints and NFT.
Mhm.
They come up with
Building.
these fatalities, you could sell those.
You know what would be
Yes.
even more interesting is if you actually had to, in order to purchase that, you had to complete a quest.
Mhm.
Yeah, you complete the
can't
quest
even
or buy it.
You can't even buy it unless
Oh.
you've completed a quest. That
That's
way,
it.
it's not.
That's a good
That's the
one.
way it's not.
Gonzaga, man.
Buy to
Some people have.
pay
Some
to
people
earn.
don't have
or
all that
pay-
time.
What is it? Pay to win?
Gonzaga, I need to buy. Gonzaga, I already need to buy some of yours. I already know you and Dip are the pro gamers. I already know I got to buy some shit off you guys.
Yeah, Gonzaga, some of us got to work for a living, my dude.
Yeah,
I'm
we
trying to
don't
my
work
ass
at
off.
building video games. We don't. It's not our job to build video games and knowing how to dominate them. Like some people have other jobs. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited, guys. What else? What else you guys got? What did we miss?
So for the DAO part, the EVM compatible platform, they said, however, intricacies of constructing such a wonder are many. While possible to surmount, they are not simple. But our solution will also be ready by winter's end. And then they said, while delays are no fun, we want you to know that we'll deliver this once they deliver this platform, this EVM platform, staking for Essence, Messina, and Diamond Hands will become available.
Nice. Okay, that has to do with the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Mac, what are you thinking?
Oh, I'm looking at other parts, and I'm really thinking about this the version of the what is it? Emperor Giotto's Holy Guide to Crushing Your Enemies in Combat and Achieving Eternal Glory in the Arena of Death. So like the guide that they're coming out with in July that has to do with all the fighting and combat scenarios and all that information. I'm wondering if it's going to have the elemental stuff in there as well, because that's going to be a small tome right there. That's going to be a lot of information that comes out next month.
Mm-hmm.
Not
I'm
to take
excited.
away from the Dow or staking or any of that type of stuff, but you know,
I think
that's
we're gonna have an action-packed summer, guys. I think it's
I
going
think
to be
so,
very
too.
eventful.
Yep, even in a bear market,
Mhm.
I think that we are in the right project. I think we're in the only project, one of the only projects you could possibly be in a market like this.
So much
Isn't it
information.
crazy? Go ahead, Buns.
I was just saying, like this week we were given so much information; it's hard to digest it all. You know, like we've got the roadmap, we've got the AMA, we got the lore, we got like tons of stuff in this 1 week, and I'm hoping that they can portion it out, portion it out like week after week after week instead of like going a month or two and then blasting it all at once.
Yeah,
That,
I think that's the part they're getting, which that's fine.
They're going to start
I think
doing
that's
what? Weekly AMAs and bi-weekly developer contacts or AMAs. So,
but that's
they're
I
kind
think
of.
with. Oh, sorry, Z. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
I said they're biting off our style, boys. Weekly with us and then bi-weekly with the devs. What are they thinking?
they good. I mean, I'm glad to give them a great model if it helps the project. God bless them. Like they should definitely do weekly AMAs, 1 hour per week. Like that's not bad, And then the questions, like if the community is asking a question, the person that's going to ask the question in the AMA is going to be a question that the community supports and wants to know the answer to. So that's all they got to do is hold weekly AMAs.
I think my major thing. I just have two thoughts on the remainder of this update. One is said a lot of things. They've communicated a lot of things. They said they're going to change a lot of things. Like now we just need to see the follow through, right? And that's where, like, yes, I absolutely want to see those weekly calls and AMAs. Like we just need the follow through, right? I do just want to, encourage any Jam City folks who might be listening, like, please just follow through with that. Like your community is paying a lot of attention, as you've probably seen over the last month or so. So please just follow through with the things that you say you're going to do. Even if it's bad news, just give us the news. Like we just want to know.
Right.
We've had over an hour-long discussion on all of this stuff that just got released, to Bun's point, and where was all this the last 2 months?
I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
So that was my first thing. The other thing is just as a a potential for improvement on my end, like the way that the update was written, I think from a creative standpoint is awesome. It ushers us more into the world. It gets us more comfortable with, Giotto's actually like doing things in this world. He's interacting with the Prime Eternal holders, the maestros. I love that portion of that, but I would like to see another side of that, which is just the really rough, down and dirty outline. The only thing that's problematic about a really cool creative piece like this is it is really difficult to quickly get the information that you need to know. And there are certain people who just will not read all of this narrative. Like they're just like, I don't really care about what Giotto's saying. Like I just want to know win stake, or don't have time, right? Win stake. So my thing, just as a suggestion to Jam City, if anybody's listening to the Champions, just release an outline as well. Just have both sides of it. Like I love the creative side of it. I'm the type of person who is going to read that. But that down and dirty makes things a lot easier for different personality types.
I'm not. I need the high level. Exactly what you said, Vita. I'm not. That doesn't really interest me too much. I need the high level, like where we're at, which is why I listen to the AMA, why we have this discussion. If I was questioning anything, I'm like, the Prime Minds will fill me in on Saturday. and that's exactly what we did. Guys, yeah, I think we had a nice long conversation. We're gonna wrap this up the same way we do every week. I just want to know what your outlook is on this project, how you're feeling about the longevity, and how you're feeling moving forward. Let's start at the top. Gonzaga, how you feeling?
Feeling great. I'm gonna start saving up for my elemental purchases in October, and I'm super happy with everything, all this information we've gotten. Like I said, I'm not. Some of the information is bad news, but I'm happy to get it. I'm happy to have that bad news. So, feeling good about the project as always.
Right. By the dip, we're going alphabetical order. How you feeling?
Feeling great, guys. First of all, my confidence in the company is big because they've done stuff like this before. Now they're just trying to incorporate it in the Web3 space. Um, I'm willing to wait as long as possible for the economy, and that's just me because I'm a kind of investor. When I put or if I invest in anything, it's for 3 to 5 years. So I'm very bullish on this future, and I think this game is going to go for 50 years.
Boom. Damn. That's it. Okay. Vita.
I know the alphabet. I'm ready.
Go ahead.
Yo, I hope that you all can hear there's just a difference in the tenor and in the way that I'm interacting with people. Like, this is just what having solid information to be able to speculate and have conversations with does to the community, right? It just brings a more vibrant expression, and I'm stoked, man. I loved the majority of what I saw in the roadmap. I won't say that all of it was great, but it was communicated, and I'm stoked on where we're headed. So I'm still planning on being here. I'm still planning on holding. I am bullish on this project.
Nice. Z-Mackin.
So I just want to admit right now at the very end of the episode, that when the roadmap came out, I was not all that impressed with it. But in combination with the AMA that they had yesterday, yeah, I'm definitely a little bit more confident about what the roadmap says, and I don't know if I've been more confident in Champions Ascension other than when we were pre-mint, right? Like, so bullish on this project. And we've all made very good points, but it all comes back down to the fact that we all made bets on a $1 billion gaming company, and they have plenty of very hard hitting ammo in their wallet, in their arsenal already. And so I think Champions Ascension is going to be way up there. I think we're going to make waves at the rest of the NFT space. We'll have no choice but to start following along after we've already been the first ones to break ground. So I think we're all still really early, boys, and I'm excited, even with the disappointment with the pushbacks and the lack of concrete dates on everything, but just a few pieces of information. I'm still super bullish, but I gotta say it again, since we have all this new information. I'm gonna go right back to when the white paper was released. When's white paper version 2, Jam City? We're waiting for it. We're excited.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, they I think do a little bit more deep dives in some of those things, like they said. Yep. And just to round it out, I think we all said it. You already heard it. It's like we're here for the longevity of the project. In the grand scheme of things, we're only 6 months into what is a multi-decade project, and they just said it again at the AMA. Dip just said it's about probably a 50-year project we're getting into. So my grandchildren will be playing my NFTs. I can hand those down, so that'll be exciting. And the only thing that changed is that they gave us information. That's it. Like, I'm over bullish again, and the only thing that changed is that we have more information now. So that's all they have to do. They keep that up. They have a happy community. We have a great project, and we're all moving forward. So you heard it all. No reason to reiterate. I'm bullish. I'm here for the long term. I can't wait for the new drops. I can't wait for the gameplay. Supporting all the devs. I think it's a great team we have, and we're happy to come to you every week. Once again, find us on Twitter at Prime Minds Pod. You're listening to us on YouTube right now. Share this, like this, tell your friends about us. Catch us in the Discord. This has been Gonzaga, By the Dip, Vita G, Z-Mackin. I'm your boy King Dav. We're out. And as you know, as always, Prime Minds think alike. Peace.